Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome back. Nice to be again with you, trying to um find some new ideas, some images, some words to add to this um, Andean community healing. Uh, Today is the second day. I'm Rama Flores for the ones who are arriving right now. Um, so nice to be here. This is our humble house in the northeast of Brazil. It's a beautiful day right now. Is quite fresh actually. And yesterday we had the first day. I had a very task to uh, not just speak in English, which is not my mother language, but more than that, to not be so dramatic on talking about a very important issue, like a wound on all of us, on humanity, which is individuality. It's very difficult to talk about this and not being dramatic, not being um, like in some way pessimistic. We talked about this yesterday. It's difficult not just to avoid the issue. So I gave you some questions to open the field, and look at it without prejudice, without just making it obvious, just to open the field of possibilities. So yesterday we gave you some meditative questions. I hope you use them not for answering it, but more than that, to create some new ways of looking into your reality. Today, we're going to talk about something ambiguous, something nebulous. We're going to talk about a very specific aspect of the Andean Way, which is, in my point of view, the essence of the Andean Way, which is the contradiction or the ambiguity or the ambivalence or the several possibilities in the same thing. It's related to what we talked about yesterday, the yanantin, which is the opposites that gets in the middle to dance. And for this, I was trying to find a proper way to talk about this. And I saw myself, I come from a family of 3 children. I'm the oldest one. I used to have the responsibility to be assertive. As the oldest one, I had the responsibility to look after my brother and sister. So I had to be assertive. I had to avoid doubts. I don't know if you some of oldest brother or sister are here, but as the oldest one, I had that role to avoid the doubt, to be assertive, to have the answer for almost everything. Actually, my father used to tell me that I was the Google man because I have answer for everything, and that certainty that I had, it was break. It was it was broken when I started the Andean Way, and in a very interesting, actually in a very interesting way. When I traveled to Peru, like more than 15 years ago, uh, I came from Europe. I used to live in Europe, and in Europe, some of you know it. Clara Luz lives there. The certainty, it's important because it's part of control of reality. We used to feel comfortable when we control reality, and when reality is certain, we feel secure. When you arrive to Peru, when you go to deep Latin America, you will notice that are many contradictory feels in every way. One of the most important feels I realized, because I love the language, I love the words, I love how the words are used. And I put a lot of attention in the Quechua language. And the Quechua language from Cape Town, so nice to receive South Africa here, Marie. Thank you for being there. So my grandfather used to speak in Quechua language. So I was interested on the language, and I started to realize that some words were not what I thought they were. The meaning was different to the meaning I thought they were. Nice to read you, Hanan from Dubai. Some of the most interesting thing about the Quechua language is the polysemic quality. Polysemic means a word with many meanings. Many meanings. When a language has polysemic words, it's an open language. It's interesting that English is a very polysemic language. The words has a lot of possibilities to engage with others in a sentence, and it takes you to one meaning, or maybe many meanings in just one sentence. The Quechua language has the same possibility. And for example, maybe you have heard of this word. It's very famous worldwide. Maybe you're reading it for the first time. But the word Pachamama. Pachamama, maybe you have heard of it. Mama is quite easy to get. Mama, mother. Most of the people translate Pacha like earth. So Pachamama, Mother Earth. But actually, Pacha is a piece of word. It's a very small word that means a lot of things related to some contradictory fields: space and time. Pachamama then sometimes could be the mother of the space, the mother of time, the mother of what? What is space and time? They are so contradictory aspects. When they engage space and time, well, you could try to come with me in this intent. When the space and time gets together, suddenly it comes or overcome the existence. So space and time together creates existence. So the word Pacha is confusing. It's contradictory. There's another word, for example, Ñaupai or Ñaupa. Ñaupa at the same time means old or the older one, and in the same time means what is coming in front of you related to time. So the same word takes you to the past and takes you to the future. So that word brings together the future and the past in the position of the present, depending on how you create the sentence. It's open. Hello, Raluca from Romania. So nice to receive you here. One of the most interesting things of the Incas societies that we have known is that it was, most of the people name it as an empire, but actually it's quite different to an empire that we met, we have heard or read in the history. The Incas used to include different tribes or different people to this socialist way of organization. The Incas used to bring to get to a different place to absorb the god and the goddesses, to absorb the language, to absorb what is meaningful for them, and to give to this tribe different their own language and their own culture. So they used to be open to different cultures. And this openness is quite clear when the Spaniard arrived. Obviously, the Spaniard imposed a different rule, a different way of hierarchy, and obviously a different religion imposed it. But it's interesting how the 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 Andean traditions absorb Christianity, acknowledging the connection between, for example, Jesus and Taita Inti. They named Jesus Taitacha, like Taitacha, the translation for Taitacha is like little, little father. And obviously, father is related to the son. So Jesus was the son. Mother Mary was related to Pachamama. So every time they had to, they were forced to praise or pray for Mother Mary, they were praying for Pachamama. When they had to pray for Jesus, they were praying for Taita Inti. One of the interesting things as well in Latin America and some places, maybe in Romania, maybe in South Africa, is when you go to buy something, you can, and it's quite acceptable in 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 Latin American societies, you can bargain, like put in doubt the price of some product, put in doubt, and that is not actually bad, because I know if you go to Europe and you bargain, the people will see you in a very odd way. But if you bargain in Latin America, it's a very good thing, because you are trying to get the proper price for something. There's not a fixed price. A seller will try to put the price higher because they know that at some point there's going to be a price that is good for me and is good for you. So we find a middle field. The bargain is an ambiguous practice that in some people, in some countries, is very interesting to bring ambiguity. But what is ambiguity? Or how ambiguity influences us in our life? Ambiguity as the word helps us to understand, is like an open field. It's like a crossroad when you have several possibilities and you are in doubt. You didn't take the decision. You are in front of possibilities. You are in front of diversity. You are in front of several ways to take action, right? If you see how our societies develop their actions, you can see that there's like, no, how to say this? The the diversity is in threat. The diversity in nature, we can see that all the natural environments are losing diversity. And at the same time, we are losing diversity in culture. The globalized world is starting to monopolize, like cutting the possibilities of how we behave, especially with the internet. There's like a monoculture, not just in agriculture, but in every field, to impose some kind of message, a certain message, one kind of voice. So ambiguity is in threat, is threatening by a very important force that we can realize more present in our lives, which is fundamentalism or ideology. And when I say this, fundamentalism, maybe you can imagine, well, it's like a religious guy or a far right or something that is very stubborn in their beliefs. But in any field, we could be ideologists. We can be very spiritual and very ideologies, in very close to what the meaning is. When we determine something in a certain way, very specifically, we create one truth. We tag, we label reality in certain way. So we are closing, or as we say yesterday, narrowing the experience. Yes, that's it, Barbara. Narrowing our world. We are labeling, we are putting tags in everything. So I can feel more comfortable. I can feel in control. When I narrow my world, when I label my world, I'm starting to create an obvious world. An obvious world is an invisible world. I just do things in this way. I behave in this circumstance. I behave in this way. This kind of people is like that. So I start to wipe out the uncertain. I start to wipe out the other. I create invisible other. I dissolve the other. So the fundamentalism, the ideology, is a very strong force. You can see it in even more present in politics, in religion, in the internet. There's so much. And that's one truth. The other option, the other threat to ambiguity is indifference. The indifference is that position to give not just one meaning as the fundamentalism gave to everything, but no meaning. The indifference makes no meaning to reality. I don't care about reality. It's some kind of the reality is meaningless. The reality is insignificant. That's a very important word. It's insignificant because I'm closed to the world. I don't care about the world. So the world disappears. So ambiguity is a very important force because life is ambiguous. You and me are ambiguous. Sometimes we behave this way, sometimes we behave that way. We are changing all the time. Ambiguity is change. Ambiguity is complexity. Ambiguity is diversity and plurality. We are open to possibilities. Raluca says, how can rules, basic like cleaning, keeping schedule, like live with ambiguity? That's an interesting question. Obviously, we can't be completely open to reality. If we want to share, if we want to live with someone else, when I say someone, I'm not talking about just other people, with our environment. We need to find some kind of rules. But as these rules are a bit loose, if they are a bit loose, they are open to possibilities. If the rules are strict and closed, we start to have tensions. If we don't have any rules, as a complete anarchy, we can't live together. So it's interesting how you put it, Raluca, because we have to find the right amount of ambiguity in our lives to nourish our reality. That's the point, how we nourish our reality. You know, in the Andes, they do something very odd. They communicate with the mountains, with the rivers, with the wind. And you can say, well, that could be a bit poetic, but it's impossible. A mountain can speak. A wind can give you any answer for your doubts or your questions. So how can you bring mystery, that's an ambiguous word, mystery, to your life? The field of the beliefs, religion, is ambiguous. You have to believe in something that you can't see. If you believe in the God, you have to accept something ambiguous. You can feel something that you can call God, or you can create something in your head, but you can see it, you can touch it, you can't prove it. It's ambiguous. So the contact with the sacred is in the field of ambiguity. It's in the field of mystery. The oracles are essential in the Andean tradition, in the old traditions. The oracles, it's quite it's in the fields of interest of many people to use tarot or to start to bring some oracles to your life. And what is an oracle but an ambiguous and mysterious experience? You are open to receive a non-rational message from the spirit. The spirits. In the Andes, there are many oracles. They used to throw the coca leaves because they think that inside the coca leaves there's a spirit called Mama Kuka that could create a bridge between you and the web of life that we live on. They used to read the fire. They used to read the spider webs. That's a very interesting way for an oracle. And actually, in just a few centuries ago, the Romans used to watch the birds in the sky to receive an auspice. Auspice, actually, that word comes from Latin avis specere, to look at the birds, to bring some kind of answers for dubious questions. Sometimes there's a straight question: what time is it? And you look at the clock, at your watch, and you know that is 2:28. Right, that's certain. But what about existential questions? They're dubious, they're ambiguous questions. And when you have any question right now, what's a gesture, the natural gesture? If you have any question, just pick the modern oracle, your cell phone. You just pick your cell phone and ask Google, like an oracle, to give you answers, because we need to understand everything to feel comfortable, to feel in control. So we put ourselves into this platform, like a big brain, Google or whatever. Maybe it's going to be overcome with AI or something similar. So it brings a certain response, a certain answer, a common answer, one truth, finally one truth. And actually, if you know, well, maybe you know already, Google is not impersonal. Actually, it's quite biases to sell something specifically. Someone is paying, the companies, the corporations pays millions of dollars to Google to answer specifically something that is interested for them, you to buy, you to answer, you to choose, right? So what's the way for this humanity that is relying in a digital oracle? All right, I have a question, and I have, and I'm controlled by these answers. Imagine a society with artificial intelligence, AI, bringing you just answers to guide humanity to a certain way, a certain answer. So if we don't want to be a fundamentalist, if we don't want to be indifferent, we need to accept some amount of ambiguity, of doubt, of possibilities. And sometimes I like to understand this contradiction, this ambiguity, in an image of a garden. When a garden has different qualities, different diversity, different plants, different shades, light, humidity, quality of the soil, a complex space, that's ambiguity. And how can we bring to our lives this complexity, this diversity in the right amount to recover the connection with this that we call mystery? How can we open our world to the mystery, to the ambiguity? Finally, the interest of ambiguity, of this doubt, of this openness, is to bring about the experience of beauty. What is beauty? Is certain aesthetics that is coming from the Google, or beauty is an experience of an explosion of appreciation for something. And this appreciation is unique for you, for you, for you, for you. Everyone has its own experience of beauty. That's why art is beautiful. Art, the meaning of art, is giving you possibilities of interpretation. When the art becomes something certain, it's there. The art in a specific way to create ambiguity, to create possibilities, to create different readings of the same sentence, of the same ideas. How can we be open to different readings of reality? How can, through contradiction, nourish the way we see the world? That's the point I want to bring you today. And I want to give you two questions, actually, as yesterday, to put in doubt what is certain in your life, to put in doubt what you conscious or unconsciously labeled, tagged in your life. I'm gonna copy these two questions. Is there any way? Is there any other way to? And that's open for you. Is there any other way to act in this situation, to think, to feel? The action, you can put it, the verb, you can put it in there. Is there any other way to accept, to bring in, to deny, to feel? So the intent of that question is to open the field of possibilities. Sometimes we act as a robot, a machine. A machine hasn't possibilities. Just the robot acts in a certain way, in a certain order. There's an order, So the robot is automatic. It will answer every time for the same question in the same way. But human beings are open. So is there any other way to, right? And this second question is related to indifference. So do I care for whatever? Do I care for this person? Do I care for, no, I meet a tree. Do I care for it? Do I care for this situation? Do I care for, I don't know, for example, Mari from South Africa. Do I care for South Africa? I live in Brazil. Why should I care for Africa? Do I care? And the answer for that is not linear. It's open. Just open yourself to that possibility. Do I care for? Because it puts you, it sets the dialogue field with the other. It sets the dialogue. What is a dialogue? It's the possibility of the encounter with the other. Encounter with the other. So, can I meet South Africa and its conflicts and its beauties? Do I care for a place? Do I care for my family? Do I care for, you know, the conflicts in the world and the conflicts in my neighborhood? Do I care for? So I'm going to give you these two questions so you can write it or just keep it in your mind the rest of the day and put in doubt, open the possibility of the crossroads to bring some nebulous fields in the right amount, as we said with Raluca, in the right amount. Can we put in doubt what is certain in my life? So I hope you enjoy this poetic practice that I'm giving you. And tomorrow we're gonna talk about what is community, what is ILU, what is community, how it's built, how can we build community around us in our life, how can we be part of a community, how can we grow the influence of community, and how can we recover hope for a community, for living together with the others. So thank you for today. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your questions, your presence there, your listening, and hope you meet us tomorrow at the same time in this same channel. We're gonna share the link in the WhatsApp group. So I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you, Amal. Thank you, Barbara, Raluca, Marie, Hanan, Clara Luz. Thank you, and see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.